Night before my nephew, Justin, was to take his college entrance exam, my sister-in-law, Stella Lou, wanted to smash a brick against his head to make it swell. She claimed that a head injury would cause a gene mutation, raising his IQ and making the exam simple. But I loved my nephew. I couldn't bear to see him hurt. I told Stella that gene mutation was a very low probability event and a high probability was a concussion, potentially even death. Reluctantly, Stella threw the brick away. Later, Justin failed to get into university, settling for a vocational college. After graduation, he struggled to find work and lived off his parents. Stella would say, "If your aunt hadn't stopped me that day, you'd be a social elite with a university degree by now, not worrying about finding a good job." In a fit of rage, Justin found the discarded brick and bludgeoned me to death. Reborn. This time, I want to see how many blows you can withstand. Hurry and help me, I can't hold this anymore. Stella Lou, my sister-in-law, hurried in, cradling a bundle and carrying rubbing alcohol and cotton swabs. Her voice preceded her arrival. Hearing her, my mother rushed to relieve her of the items. But when she unwrapped the bundle to see what was inside, Mother's face turned blank. "Stella, Justin is taking his college entrance exam tomorrow. Do you have time to go around collecting junk? Who acts like this, like a mother?" Stella wasn't offended. With a mysterious air, she said, "Junk? No, this is my secret weapon. I'm going to change Justin's brain." My mother didn't understand. Change his brain? How? Justin needs to focus on studying, don't think of ways to harm him. Justin Tran was the sole male heir of the Tran family for 3 generations, Mother's precious grandson, her golden boy. In her eyes, no one could care for her grandson better than her, not even his own mother, Stella Lou. Stella chuckled. "It's precisely because he's taking the exam tomorrow that we can't wait any longer. If we wait, it'll be too late. You don't know, Mother, I'm doing all this for his own good. I saw on the news that someone fell off a cliff, hit their head, and after being rescued, turned into a genius. If Justin could also become a genius, wouldn't the college entrance exam be a piece of cake?" Listening to Stella's explanation, my mother was undeniably swayed. After all, her grandson was poor in every subject. Getting into university would require ancestral blessings. Such glory for the ancestors, who could refuse? My mother dreamed day and night of her grandson transforming into a dragon, bringing honor to the family name. She even made a pilgrimage, taking 3 steps and bowing once up a mountain, praying to Buddha to bless her grandson with high scores. If it really worked, she would certainly be willing to try, but she remained unsure. "We just prayed to Buddha, now there's talk of bloodshed. It's bad luck. Has anyone tried this method? Is it reliable? A brain is flesh and blood. What if something unexpected happens? How would I explain it to our ancestors?" Stella frowned, looking displeased. "Wealth is found in danger. If you're afraid to move forward 3 steps and afraid to retreat 5 steps, what can you achieve? Go take a bath and sleep." But in truth, Stella had no intention of giving up. "I'm his mother, don't I want what's best for him? Risks are definitely there, but we'll all be watching, nothing will happen." Just like in my previous life, my sister-in-law patted her chest in assurance. With that, she acted, brick in hand, aiming to hit Justin's head. As her hand went up and the brick came down, a large bump immediately appeared on the back of his head. I heard the commotion and rushed over, forcefully pushing her away. "This isn't wanting what's best for him. This is clearly attempted murder." I quickly shielded Justin, carefully checking the injury. Fortunately, it wasn't too serious. "What are you 2 doing? Hitting someone's head with something so hard could kill them." Stella looked pained. She also felt for her son. "He hurts 1, I hurt 10. After convincing my sister-in-law, I threw the brick far, far away. Later, my nephew took his exams normally, scoring over 100 points below the university threshold. Having no affinity for university, he didn't want to retake the exams and chose a vocational college near home. At the same time, I passed the IELTS on my first try and was preparing to study abroad. Stella secretly resented me. In her perception, I must have secretly used her secret to perform so well. Since her son didn't use it, he didn't do well. How absurd. Does a top university student need to injure herself to achieve good grades? I not only passed the IELTS on my first try, but I also passed the university entrance exam, driving test, CET-4, and CET-6 all on the first attempt. Are they blind? Even if, theoretically, my brain was enlightened stepping back 10,000 paces, what was the probability of that? For one exam, it wasn't necessary to take such a risky gamble. But no matter how I explained it, she didn't believe me. Coincidentally, the red brick couldn't be found either. I tried to ask Mother to explain for me, but she suddenly played dumb. Your own problems, you solve them. Whether you do it or not, you know in your heart. I know in my heart, Mother, but don't you know my capabilities? It's just that I carelessly threw it away without going far, so I even asked neighbors if they saw it. Maybe someone picked it up to prop up a table leg. Even if I found a stack of documents proving this method had an extremely low success rate, she stubbornly believed I thought her son was God's chosen child. It's all your fault, Auntie. You harmed him. Stella and I, aunt and sister-in-law, didn't speak a word to each other. My family also refused to let me study abroad, so I found a job very far from home. Later, my nephew graduated, couldn't find work, and lived at home, parasites. Over time, conflicts were inevitable. But every time something went wrong, Stella would brainwash him. If your aunt hadn't interfered that day, not letting you become successful, you would be a university student, a social elite with unlimited prospects. My nephew's already empty head was quickly captivated. He hated me to the bone because of it. Didn't he know his own worth? Who protected him back then? Doesn't he have any sense of proportion? Later, after my nephew was rejected after confessing his feelings, the girl's reason was his unstable job and low education. He couldn't take it anymore. He took a brick, found me, and without hesitation, bludgeoned me to death. I protected him, and he killed me. A real-life version of The Farmer and the Viper. After death, my soul floated in the air. I was unwilling. My mother, as my family, signed a waiver, legally inheriting my assets. Then, Justin used the money I had painstakingly earned to buy a house, a car, and get married. Therefore, in this life, I decided to respect the fate of others. If it doesn't concern me, I won't interfere. Jade, don't you agree? Stella suddenly called me back as I was preparing to leave. I stumbled, almost falling. I blinked, my mind racing, just hoping to leave quickly. I calmly said, "Sister-in-law, I don't know." Then I turned and walked away. The more you say, the more mistakes you make. If you don't say anything, you don't make mistakes and you won't bear the karma of others. As for my nephew in this life, whether it's good fortune or misfortune, it's his own creation. Seeing me about to leave, my mother immediately went into control mode, calling me back. In her eyes, everything I did had to be reported. It seemed a storm was brewing today. "You're a university student. Your nephew has his exam tomorrow. Stay and tutor him a bit. He'll do better tomorrow. If our youngest sister doesn't know, then listen to me." Stella took everything upon herself, but my mother was clearly unhappy, hoping I would stay and help her. "Jade, why don't you do it? Your sister-in-law doesn't know her own strength. Don't hurt your nephew. He still has to take the exam." "Of course not. This is no different from murder." Reborn, I absolutely refused to get involved in any way. Don't even think about dragging me down. I stood tall and said, "Mother, I'm clumsy too. I've never done anything like this before. Don't ruin my nephew's future. 1 point difference in the college entrance exam can put you behind an entire stadium of people." Stella Lou thought I was unreliable, educated to the point of being foolish. She waved her hand at my mother. "If you're not at ease, Mother, then you do it yourself. This is for his entire life." Jade, clueless, seemed to have studied herself silly. My mother reluctantly agreed, and my heart finally settled. But Mother still wouldn't let me off the hook. While my sister-in-law was in the room tidying up Justin's exam supplies, Mother quietly sat down next to me. "Jade, tell me the truth. Is your sister-in-law's method really reliable? Your brain wasn't hit, yet you passed the university entrance exam, didn't you?" "How can that be similar? It's precisely because I wasn't poisoned by these skewed methods that I did well on the exam. But I wouldn't tell Mother, because I wouldn't let Justin be harmed." I smiled like an idiot and told Mother, "Mother, my sister-in-law is your grandson's birth mother. How could she harm her own son?" My mother glanced discreetly towards my sister-in-law. "I didn't say she would harm her son. It's just that your sister-in-law isn't very trustworthy." I comforted her. "Mother, don't worry. Sister-in-law said it was reported in the news, so there's no problem. If you're still worried, just search for the news." My mother indeed took out her phone to search. Coincidentally, the comments section was full of people seeking blessings, and only then did she relax. That night, I witnessed Justin Tran being knocked unconscious with my own eyes. Initially, he didn't agree. Mother, Grandma, don't worry about this nonsense anymore. It hurts, Stella patiently explained. This is a guaranteed winning treasure for the college entrance exam. It can help you get into a prestigious university. Tomorrow, when you wake up, you'll be the smartest person in the world. My nephew was still scared. Seeing this, my mother picked up the brick and swung it at his head. Justin was dazed. Taking advantage of his turning his head, Stella immediately delivered another blow. Justin was knocked unconscious. Stella immediately took out rubbing alcohol and cotton swabs to disinfect the swelling. After dealing with it, Stella Lou looked at me, pretending to be tired, and said, "I'm so tired today. Jade, you have an exam tomorrow, right? But it's not convenient for me to decide for you. Otherwise, I would have helped you." I shook my head in fear, politely telling her to rest well. "Sister-in-law is my elder. How dare I trouble you so much? I definitely won't bother you. It's getting late. Please rest soon." Of course, if she had actually dared to hit me, I would have called the police. The next morning, my nephew was vaguely brought to the exam room. To ensure he could focus on the exam, from his clothes and travel to his pens, paper, admission ticket, and ID card, he didn't have to worry about anything. Before entering the exam room, my sister-in-law proudly blessed him. "May my son know all the answers he needs for the exam, and guess correctly whatever he doesn't know." In school, I had completed all the practice exams available on the market, which allowed me to be confident and calm during the actual exam. Now, Justin Tran, with his injured head, a mediocre student who couldn't even finish the practice tests, wanted to be a dark horse. It was a pipe dream. Even stranger, my mother instructed her grandson. "How could you guess? My grandson must bring glory to the family, a top scholar. If not you, then who?" They completely ignored Justin's bloodshot eyes and weak complexion. To prevent them from disturbing my exam, I had already turned off my phone, and I didn't turn it on even after the exam, carrying cash instead. It wasn't until past 5:30 p.m. that the day's exams concluded. Logically, Justin would have finished 2 subjects by now. I wondered if it went smoothly. As soon as I turned on my phone, a call from my brother, David, came in along with a pile of messages and voicemails. The moment I answered, criticism immediately erupted from the other end. "Where have you been? Why aren't you answering your phone? Something happened at home and we couldn't find you. What good are you?" I waited for them to calm down before slowly explaining. "What happened at home? My exam was moved to the afternoon. I just finished." My brother angrily shouted, "You didn't go smoothly either. Your nephew's exam is ruined. He fainted in the exam room and didn't even finish one subject. We're at the hospital. Hurry over and pay the bills." Indeed, what was meant to happen did. Justin couldn't handle it, because this kind of brain injury, at the very least, is a mild concussion. To be hit twice like that, his head not cracking and still waking up, was a miracle. I feigned surprise. "How could that be? Wasn't he fine this morning? Why is he in the hospital? Is he okay now?" My brother, who had specially taken his son to the exam, had placed all his hopes on him. Now, before the exam was even finished, his son was in the hospital. He was even more furious. "What's wrong with my son? Why did he faint in the exam room?" Stella and my mother both felt a little guilty. After all, each of them had hit him with a brick. "I don't know, I hit him very lightly." "Me too." At this moment, Stella suddenly realized something. It must be because mother hit him crooked. A mother-in-law and daughter-in-law battle immediately erupted. My brother couldn't pull them apart and just let them be. Then my brother suddenly remembered that the other end of the phone hadn't hung up, and he ordered me, "Hurry over here and buy your nephew some painkillers." I, of course, refused. Medicine isn't something you just take whenever you want. Then, when something goes wrong, they'll blame the medicine I bought. Why should I invite trouble upon myself? Brother, whatever medicine the hospital needs, just use that. Listen to the doctor, that's more effective. Don't you agree? My words were reasonable, and indeed it was for his son's good. My brother finally agreed. All right, the doctors are still the most reliable." "There are already 2 unreliable people causing trouble at home," he grumbled. Finally, he didn't forget to instruct me, "Hurry home, don't loiter outside. No one's home. If something happens, someone needs to look after it." I obediently agreed, but I wouldn't return so quickly. What for? To cook for the whole family, clean up my nephew's remaining study materials, or be an emotional punching bag? I happily ate dinner, then went window shopping at a mall, only returning home late at night. When I arrived home, Justin Tran had already been discharged from the hospital. The doctor couldn't find anything wrong and could only recommend monitoring him. But the family earnestly insisted and promised to return for follow-up appointments before taking Justin home. More importantly, they couldn't miss the exam. They unanimously decided that if he only missed one subject, he could still catch up by scoring maximum points on the remaining subjects. Even half a subject counted for half the points, and he could still get into a prestigious university. Justin Tran was drowsy and slumped, while the others argued incessantly, looking like they were about to tear the house apart. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflict. My brother, of course, sided with my mother. He blamed Stella for not raising their son well. If you hadn't brought back that broken brick, would my son have fainted during the exam? Now, let alone university, we don't even know if his health will recover. Stella was also hot-tempered and wouldn't yield to anyone. Can you blame me for this? Mother was the one who struck first. My blow certainly wasn't the problem. My mother wouldn't back down. My blow wasn't the problem either, Stella Lou retorted. How can you prove it? My mother, of course, couldn't give a reason. She always heard only what she wanted to hear. Seeing this, Stella Lou became even more aggressive. Mother, tell me, Justin is in this state all because of you. At this moment, Justin Tran slowly opened his eyes, seeming much recovered. Everyone, stop arguing. My head hurts so much and I haven't eaten all day. Is there anything to eat? Seeing my nephew improving, the whole family was overjoyed. Their indulgence towards Justin was no less than that for a national treasure. Seeing their grandson recover, they all went to cook. It seemed they believed that as long as he could eat, he was well again. In fact, that was true. In medicine, a concussion is the mildest type of brain injury. Clinical manifestations include headache, dizziness, nausea, and vomiting, usually lasting a day or a few days, and can completely resolve, even without treatment. After dinner, the main topic was brought up. My brother first asked about the exam. After receiving a negative answer, my brother immediately deflated like a punctured balloon, and the whole family was dejected. In the silence, a risky thought appeared in everyone's mind. But having just been discharged from the hospital, how could they risk it again? If it had an effect, a little risk wouldn't hurt. My brother was the first to break the silence. Stella and my mother also nodded enthusiastically. Thus they decided, achieving consensus quickly. This time, they were extremely careful because Stella adamantly insisted the problem was with Mother's blow, so this time Stella would do it herself. The next day, Justin Tran still participated in the college entrance exam. After successfully completing the test, my mother joyfully said, "Didn't they say boys are thick-skinned and strong? He'll surely pass with flying colors, not weak like Jade, who got a high fever and had to go to the hospital for just a small scratch." Weak, I broke a bone and was in cold sweat from the pain, and she thought I was weak. Remembering it still sends shivers down my spine. That time, I unluckily fell and broke a bone during PE. I didn't pay attention then, but when I got home, the pain was excruciating. I begged my mother to take me to the hospital, but she delayed for an entire night, even saying I was pretending. The next day, I almost became disabled, but if I told her, she would surely say she had forgotten. I knew her too well. Justin Tran lay peacefully on the bed. That night was the anniversary of his death. Sure enough, the next morning, Justin Tran was cold and stiff. The whole family was terrified. By the time they took him to the hospital, he was confirmed to be in a vegetative state. My mother gripped my hand, sweating. A vegetative state? How could he be in a vegetative state? He was fine yesterday. My mother was in extreme pain, lunging to hit Stella Lou. "It's all your fault for agreeing. You harmed him. I'll make you pay for his life. Give me back my grandson." The doctor hadn't even announced the cause, and she had already blamed everything on my sister-in-law. Stella wouldn't back down either. "I don't believe my son, who was perfectly healthy, became a vegetable. You people must have made a mistake. I'll sue you." Soon my brother, who had been drinking outside, rushed to the hospital. Seeing his wife and mother's anxious faces, he even went to comfort them. "Don't cry yet. What did the doctor say?" The two stammered, unable to explain clearly. My brother was so angry he stomped his foot. At this moment, the doctor rushed out and asked, "Has the patient suffered any recent injuries? He has a hematoma compressing a nerve in his head. We can't say when he will wake up. Here's the bill. Please go pay it." The family, who were so aggressive a moment ago, immediately quieted down. My brother's eyes widened even more as he held the bill. His drunken stupor hadn't worn off, and his temper immediately flared. He lunged and grabbed the doctor by the collar, questioning him. What do you mean, can't say when? The doctor, accustomed to hospital troublemakers, forcefully pushed him away and said sternly, Family, calm down. The patient's head has suffered a fatal injury. If you had come a little later, he wouldn't have survived. If you don't believe my words, you can transfer him to another hospital. Thump, my brother fell to the ground. Whether from extreme worry for his nephew or from the alcohol going to his head, he seemed to have lost his support in an instant, as if his spine had broken. A moment later, he suddenly sprang up and rushed towards Stella, grabbing her by the neck and lifting her. Stella's neck immediately turned red, unable to speak. Didn't you say it wouldn't affect his health? Is this how you take care of my son? Why don't you go down there with him? Stella Lou desperately tried to pry her husband's hands from her neck. Her survival instinct unleashed unprecedented strength. Her nails tore at my brother's hand. She was also rescued. She struggled to breathe again. A slap landed. Are you crazy? Am I his stepmother? Why don't you ask your sister? She didn't say that method wouldn't work either. She's a university student, you know. A myriad of critical points hit me. A huge black pot was thrown my way. My brother, cradling his bleeding hand, glared at me fiercely. Jade, why didn't you try to dissuade them? Did you just stand by as an outsider? Are you still family? An outsider? Am I supposed to be a punching bag as well? But how could I add fuel to the fire while he was angry? I denied everything. What are you talking about? The idea was sister-in-law's, and mother even confirmed it online. Are they conspiring to harm Justin? Besides, I really didn't have time. I had my own exams, you know. And before, the doctors didn't find any problems. Why did he suddenly fall ill? I don't know either. Everything I said was the truth, and my brother couldn't fault me. He suppressed his anger and glared at Stella again. If my son is fine, then everyone is fine. If something happens, I'll deal with you. With that, he went to find a doctor to bandage his wound, leaving my sister-in-law and mother standing there, doubting themselves. Then the two picked up the bill from the ground, their eyes wide, looking at each other in bewilderment. A second ago, they were like fire and water. Now they were strangely united, both turning their gazes towards me. This scene was like putting me on a pyre. In my previous life, whenever something went wrong for Justin Tran, Stella would blame me. From big things like finding a job, marriage, and having children, to small things like being bitten by mosquitoes, she blamed me for not keeping him away from mosquitoes. So, I constantly spent money and effort, buying all kinds of daily necessities, taking care of all his needs, but still couldn't atone for my sins. I even had to pay for my crimes. I had endured enough. Now, I absolutely would not bow down and obey. I would only love myself. I pretended not to see anything. Stella Lou, seeing my indifference, winked at my mother. My mother understood immediately. Jade, look, our family has such a big problem. Help the family a little. If it was truly an accident, I would certainly not be stingy. But that fool was killed in my previous life. Now I only live for myself. I said awkwardly, Mother, what can I do? My sister-in-law waved the bill in her hand, hinting that I should pay. Seeing that I still didn't understand, she said directly, You don't need to do much, little sister. Your money for studying abroad and your scholarship, can you lend us a little first? My mother's face was full of expectation. Ever since I went to university, Mother had cut off my living expenses. Fortunately, I found an opportunity and was self-sufficient, even having some extra. My mother didn't know how much money I had, but she was convinced I had savings. Her gaze wasn't like asking for a loan, but more like demanding payment. I remained unmoved. I want to give it, but I really have no money left. Mother, you don't know. The little money I earned wasn't enough to cover tuition and food, and I also had to buy study materials. All the money I earned before has been spent. Stella Lou had no intention of giving up. Even from a rock, she would extract oil. Then go borrow money? Your classmates all come from good families. You can pay them back when you earn money later. Justin is the only male heir of the Tran family. You can't not care about him. She was truly smart, just overly so. But I wasn't angry. Instead, I followed her train of thought. Sister-in-law, you're absolutely right. My friends do have money. Stella Lou's eyes immediately lit up with hope. She hoped I could bring free resources to the family. I sighed again. Sister-in-law, to be honest, I'm already heavily in debt. You know, my classmates come from good families, only I struggle to make ends meet. To make friends with them, I've worked very hard, borrowing a total of over $30,000 from various platforms, and I still haven't paid it back. Or, sister-in-law, wait a bit. I'll sell that bag, and then you can lend me a little more. After I get through this difficulty, I definitely won't refuse to help Justin with his medical expenses. To make them believe I was truly a frivolous, materialistic girl, I even faked screenshots of luxury brand purchases. This shirt is $8,000, this bag is $20,000, and the cheaper bag at school is $6,000. If I sell them all to pay off debt, I'll still be short about 15,000 yuan. As soon as I mentioned luxury goods, Stella Lu's face turned green. I sent you to school and you studied yourself silly. You're demanding to buy luxury goods. Hurry up and sell those bags and give me the money. You pay those debts yourself. Don't drag the family down. I begged my mother for help. Mother, help me. If you don't help me, then at least give me back my tuition and living expenses for 4 years. I'm your biological daughter. Upon realizing I was asking for money, my mother immediately became unhappy. Jade, the family sent you to school. You should be content. People your age, if not married and having children, have long since gone to work and earned money for the family. How can you still ask the family for money? So ungrateful. She knew full well that when I was helpless, I could only turn to her for help, so she quickly wanted to draw a clear line with me. Jade is not having an easy time either, so you don't need to spend money, just help with housework. With that, she took the bill to pay. For her, as long as I didn't spend the family's money, whatever I did was help for the family. If not, then so be it. After all, sons and daughters couldn't be compared. So cold-hearted. From then on, I used the excuse of going out to work and never returned to that cold house again. Back in the city where I studied, I found a job as a substitute teacher. My grades were excellent, and earning some pocket money before going abroad was good. More importantly, it allowed me to accumulate work experience. I had already saved enough money before going abroad. I lied to my family that I was studying abroad for free. By working as a social media blogger, I had earned enough money for my studies. The reason I lied to them was my fear that they would trick me out of my money. In my previous life, I was truly a big fool. By strongly preventing my sister-in-law's intention to hit Justin's head, I was so bothered by them that I gave up studying abroad, wholeheartedly helping my nephew, ruining my beautiful future. Fortunately, fate favored me with a second chance. This time, no one could snatch away my brilliant life. My life fell into place, everything developed in a positive direction. IELTS also passed smoothly. Justin Tran's condition improved, and he was transferred to a regular ward. I don't know why, but my mother suddenly called me, absolutely insisting that I return home for a visit. Even for playing cards, there had to be a reason, but she didn't say anything. It was very strange. She wasn't one to keep secrets. Before, she called me to make me spend money and effort. Now that she knew I was struggling myself, why was she so eager to find me? An unsolicited offer of kindness usually means mischief. I probed. Mother, I'm working. I can't leave. Taking unpaid leave means all my previous efforts go to waste. My mother, however, acted very generously. No salary, then no salary. That little bit isn't much. Come back, you'll have everything. This sentence contained a lot of information. They didn't care about the money I earned, and moreover, the money was expected to come from me. Now there was a sick person at home. Things were different. They might have thought of some scheme to plot against me. I asked cautiously, travel expenses and lost wages, mother, transfer 5,000 to me first. If it's not enough, you can make up the difference later. As soon as she heard money, my mother immediately flared up. You ungrateful wretch. Did I raise you for nothing? Your nephew has been in the hospital for so long, and you haven't helped at all, yet you shamelessly demand money. You can't even bear to spend a little on travel expenses. You're asking me to give up my job, taking advantage of others for charity. Who doesn't know that? I don't have money to buy a ticket. Am I supposed to walk home? A thought suddenly flashed through my mind. If I come back, I'll have everything. The affection is still being extracted from me. Mother didn't say what it was. Then let me guess. Selling my heart, selling my liver, or selling my kidney? It seemed I had guessed correctly. My mother didn't refute me. The other end was silent for a moment, then suddenly changed hands. My brother answered the phone. He was like a kind father, reluctantly speaking to me. Little sister, what are you saying? It's just that your nephew isn't getting better, and we're all very worried. We found a miracle doctor in the south who said that replacing a brain would make him recover. Not much is needed, just a little bit, and it has to be from an intelligent relative. Isn't our family only you who meets the criteria? Replacing a brain? Is this a treatment method that carbon-based life forms could even conceive of? This is murder." Hearing these words from his mouth, he was the one who needed his brain treated. I chuckled and said, "That amazing? It must cost a lot of money, right?" My brother saw me ponder for a moment, thinking I was still the obedient sister who was wholeheartedly devoted to her family. "Not much is needed. They are conducting medical experiments for free, guaranteeing successful surgery. You just need to pay for travel expenses." I was certain he had been scammed. I had never heard of a vegetative person needing a brain transplant. "If it's so miraculous, have you and sister-in-law undergone compatibility tests? You two are his biological parents, direct blood relatives. I'm just an aunt." Stella Lou immediately jumped up. "On what grounds should I have brain surgery? Jade Tran, you're harming people." "Oh, so if she can't, I can? How ridiculous. I don't owe them anything," I feigned distress. "Brother, I'm your only biological sister. You don't want to donate your brain and your wife doesn't want to. You two are teaming up to bully me." My brother, hearing the two women arguing in his ear, said irritably, "Jade, why are you like this? It's rare that something happens at home that you can help with. You're arguing over such a small thing. You're really too ungrateful. So this is an opportunity for me. Do you want this blessing, brother? You and sister-in-law don't want it. Then you go, brother. After all, he's your biological son. It's not good to mix bloodlines." When I spoke to Stella Lou, my mother didn't say anything. But when her son was mentioned, she immediately defended him. "Jade Tran, what are you saying? Your brother is the pillar of this family. Your nephew is already bedridden. How can your brother risk himself too?" In her eyes, only my brother and nephew were family. I was not important. Neither was my sister-in-law. I feigned surprise. "Mother, how could I forget you? You've eaten more salt than we've eaten rice. You're the most insightful person in the family. After all, you're a direct blood relative. If you have a brain transplant and your grandson wakes up, he'll surely be devoted to you. This way, not only will you have someone to help you, but sister-in-law won't be able to compete with you, and you'll also be able to hold the dominant ideology in the house. How wonderful." And so, I shifted the blame to each of them, leaving them speechless. Later, I learned that this seemingly childish idea was indeed their true thought. If they could use me to exchange for Justin Tran, none of them would hesitate. Before they called, a miracle doctor had indeed proposed this idea. Justin Tran had been in a coma for many days without improvement. Even with a glimmer of hope, they were willing to try, as long as it didn't harm their own interests. Therefore, tricking me back was not only to replace my brain to cure Justin, but also to make me a slave to care for him. Fortunately, this method, without any medical logic, was exposed by me. Without me as a supply for a brain transplant, Justin could only be left to fate. Under the persuasion of that Grand Master, the family decided to use a folk remedy. But after only a few hours of drinking it, Justin Tran died. Afterward, my brother went mad, causing a disturbance and smashing the hospital's most expensive equipment. He violently abused Stella Lou in the hospital, hitting and cursing her. "Stella Lou, marrying you was truly my karma from a past life. You came up with these stupid tricks. Now, not only does my son not have a university to attend, but he's also gone. What am I going to do now?" My sister-in-law was in the wrong, but even when wrong, one must argue 3 points. "That's enough, he's my son, don't I want what's best for him? Besides, you also agreed later. Didn't you also want him to bring glory to the family?" My mother shrank back in fear, her voice trembling as she intervened. "Son, don't be like that, I only have you left. Stella is also doing this for this family." The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship was truly a difficult problem. Normally like fire and water, both wanting to seize control, now they began to sympathize with each other. Stella Lou had long been dissatisfied with her mother-in-law's interference in family matters. Instead, she turned the problem onto my mother. "Mother, you're still playing the good person here. If you hadn't said it was feasible, would I have done it? If your daughter hadn't refused to donate her brain, would my son have died?" Very good, the family finally needed someone to vent their anger on. Now it was my mother's turn. My brother, usually a mama's boy, now felt that my mother was not without fault because the hospital suffered heavy losses. Later, their actions were reported by the media, causing public outrage. Netizens also took it as a lesson. Two wild chickens still want to lay a phoenix egg, how ridiculous. Hitting a brain won't necessarily make one smarter, but it will kill them. They felt sorry for Justin Tran, who died young, killed by his parents' ignorance. As for me, I only felt lucky that I hadn't followed in their footsteps, watching them pay the price for their foolishness. everything returned to its original place. Justin Tran was dead, but David Tran's debt was not erased. The compensation still had to be paid. My sister-in-law was a housewife. My mother's pension was over 1,000 yuan a month. Coupled with my brother's 5,000 yuan salary, it would take 20 years to pay it off without eating or drinking. So they had to sell their house and car. At this moment, they remembered their cheap little sister, me. If soft tactics didn't work, they would use hard ones. My mother even sued me. They claimed I intentionally caused severe injury, that I bought luxury goods instead of paying for my nephew's medical expenses. Furthermore, I didn't inquire about my seriously ill nephew, leading to his death. I knew they hoped I would step forward and plead guilty, preferably paying off all their debts and sponsoring the family a bit. But I had crossed a vast ocean, 8,000 miles from home. These dirty tricks had absolutely no effect on me. The court's verdict quickly took effect. Failure to pay on time would result in imprisonment. Initially, they intended to fine me no matter what, but they were all restricted from traveling and couldn't leave the city. Their elaborate plan failed, and they could only obediently sell their house and car. To pay off their debts, they no longer had a home to return to and had to rent cheap rooms, living meagerly. Relatives and friends, fearing being asked for money, refused to shelter them. At the same time, my brother, the only one with a decent job, was fired by his company due to misconduct. Coupled with his age, he couldn't find a good job and could only work odd jobs everywhere, enduring people's scorn. Whenever he saw children playing in the street, he would become uncontrollably angry, returning home to beat Stella Lou. The couple couldn't stand the sight of each other and eventually divorced. My sister-in-law, Stella Lou, cradled a bundle in her arms, carrying rubbing alcohol and cotton swabs, pointing at me and shouting, "Even dead, he's still mine." By the time she regained her senses, Stella Lou, disgusted with my brother, had him committed to a psychiatric hospital. My mother worked odd jobs every day to earn living expenses and also had to pay the psychiatric hospital fees, living in extreme poverty and hardship. But what did any of this have to do with me?